What's up, patrons? How are you? I am so happy to be here. It's been a very crazy week for me as far as Buenos Aires is concerned, as it's been Copa Sudamericana all this week, and Copa Sudamericana will be going on next week, and I'll be here until the end of next week. I'm really happy here. I'm really looking forward to this and hope to be back as far as the rest of this tournament is concerned, and maybe some Copa Live as well. So it's been crazy. I know I haven't been up to par as far as this month is concerned, but I will make it up to you as much and as best as possible. Next month coming up, I will also be very busy as I have Gold Cup. I have all 32 matches in Spanish. No complaints now, no, mind you. I'm just trying to mentally get myself up to task in terms of the challenge that lies ahead. 32 matches, and I think it's like 2 weeks. It's pretty much 2 games a day, 16 days straight. So they told me drink some of this. This will help my voice, and trust me, anything that will help my voice. I mean, I'll be willing to experiment to make sure that I can get as much as I am just pouring this right now, just so you see. I'm just trying to take care of my voice, and not talk too much, go around town and be able to, just absorb and enjoy and just hang out. The Copa del Rey final, as you hear, let me show you real quick. I don't want you to think I'm right there. My balcony is open. You hear motorcycles driving around and everything is really cool. It's one of my favorite towns to be in, and now it's probably one of my favorite towns to work in, because everywhere you go there's something football related happening. So it'd be great if I could live here, but that's still a long ways away, and I'm not sure if the missus will be willing to just get up and go and come back here and come work, or for me to work. It'd be nice if I work and she just stays at home and enjoys. I'd love to be able to, be able to spoil her and let her go and do her things and enjoy her things and do all the stuff she wants to do. And of course, me doing it for her, just, me wanting to spoil her. I digress. Copa del Rey final. And oh man, was that ever something interesting to watch. And it wasn't just the match itself, of course. It was a great ending, a great finish. But there were some elements of that match that gave some individuals a very uneasy feeling if you're a Barcelona fan, a tremendous good vibe if you're a Valencia fan. As I'm watching right now, hold on, let me show you real quick so you see. Right there, if you can see it, I know the view is not the best, but watching the semi-final of the Copa Superliga. Hopefully tomorrow, if I can pull off a miracle, be able to watch Boca Juniors. Just not having Vidal, not having Malcolm, not having those types of players. Of course, if you looked at Barca's team overall, man, it was just a team that didn't seem to have many options. It's a team that doesn't seem to have many options outside of Messi, because when Messi had the ball, something was at least getting. I mean, in the first half, what was the best opportunity that they had? When Messi got the ball, hit it wide, and that was pretty much it. Valencia just had more intensity. They had a bigger purpose, and that first goal kind of knocked Barcelona down, and they looked stunned. They actually looked on the border. They looked on the edge of being knocked out. Not just a team that it seemed hurt. You saw the midfield, and there was not a lot of pressure. The play, the first goal, if you look at it again, when you see Gabriel Paulista sending a ball in. I mean, perfect. I mean, that's a center back's dream to be able to put a ball out in that direction. But if Rodrigo being able to make that run, being able to divert attention in his direction, taking up some marks his way, and then everything, of course, that occurred and ended up being the goal that was scored by Kevin Gamero. All of that off-ball movement is something that we've seen with Barcelona, just ending up no one really knowing where to go, who needs to be where, what sectors need to be marked properly. It's a lot of those things that we saw with Barcelona that really tended to be worrisome pretty much the entire season in some cases. Yeah, overall people are going to say, yeah, but overall Barcelona had moments like that where the defense looked a little bit suspect. But you had such a great combination in the middle with Lenglet and Piqué. Piqué had a sensational season. Maybe the last month has left a lot to be desired. And it's common. It's common to see things like that happen. And Barca just didn't have it. Just didn't have it today in the first half. The second half was a different story. They came out, and Valencia just knew that they had to suffer a little bit more in order to get that result. And they were willing to. I mean, you saw Dani Parejo was just done. He was exhausted. He could not run anymore. Gonzalo Guedes, in the end, he's trying to put those balls through and missing. I mean, the open net that he missed, not once, actually twice. It could have killed off the match there. But it was fatigue. That was playing. You have to chalk that one up to fatigue. I mean, that doesn't take anything from his performance. It doesn't take anything away from him, from Dani Parejo, from Gabriel Paulista, that was sensational on the back. Kevin Gameiro, of course, with the goal, the first goal I'm talking about. So, I mean, overall, Valencia played how they needed to play. They played impeccable football. They showed grind. They showed a lot of hustle. They showed desire. They showed all of that, and they also showed tactical intelligence. I mean, let's not just leave it to heart and courage and everything else. This was a team that really put it all on the line and did everything they possibly could in order to get the result. Now, it was also a matchup where you had two teams heading in two different directions. Valencia having a wonderful end of the season. Of course, they get knocked out by Arsenal, who definitely were the better team in that tie in the Europa League semis. But they come back from a pretty, 15 draws at the beginning of the season. If you look at really the majority of that first part of the season, the first maybe 20, 25, 30 games, to have 15 draws in that, I mean, it makes you, find yourself in a precarious situation. And they knew, and Valencia knew it, coming back and winning matches the way they did, getting back into the Champions League, being able to get to a Copa del Rey final. Let's go back a few months now, when this final was decided. Nobody in the right mind was even considering this match even being remotely close. Remember the last time the Copa del Rey was played, and Barcelona were just steamrolling past everyone. The difference that 2 months, 3 months, 1 month makes. Barcelona is a couple of weeks. That's where this team really comes to a point where the two best teams that they played at the end of the season beat them. Plain and simple. Liverpool was the best team that they had played up to that point. They beat them. And then they played Valencia. They were the best team that had played since Liverpool. And they lost to them too. Best as far as execution, best as far as understanding how to play Barcelona, how to reduce spaces, how to mark in the middle, how to push, how to contract and expand and go on the attack and counterattack and be able to really find spaces that Barcelona aren't able to defend. And that's the biggest problem in Barcelona's hand. That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest compliment you can also give a team, because understanding how to defend them and shutting them down is a compliment to to what they able to do, especially if it's a team like Barca that have done so much this season. Valencia is going to be a successful season because of where they were and how they ended. No one expected, of course, for them to win the Liga. Nobody expected them to really even get to I don't know. I'm thinking about Copa del Rey. Yeah, well, people thought about it to get to the Copa del Rey, but no one really thought that they were going to be able to get as far as they did in Europa League, especially the way they crashed out of Champions League. Overall, that's a successful season or an acceptable season for them. Not only that they end up ending their 10-year trophy drought. So that makes it even sweeter towards the end. Maybe it does that. But if Valencia fans start looking at the overall season, then they'll start analyzing it in a different way. Barcelona, same thing. They're not going to, I mean, Ernesto Valverde might have looked to soften the blow and said, oh, anybody else would have taken this, but you're not anybody else. That's the biggest problem. You're not Valencia, you're not Betis, you're not any other team. And again, you don't want to be one of those fans that, oh, because Madrid didn't have a, oh, don't measure yourself to other teams. Measure yourself to where you have been and where you were and where you could have been. And I think that's where people get lost as far as Barcelona are concerned. Barcelona have, there was a great deal of expectation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They were a team that was running away with La Liga, that was playing rather well in the Champions League, as they had been able to really not have any problems with Manchester United. Let's go back to that stage. The league was okay. I mean, excuse me, not the league, but the group stage of the Champions League, that's what I meant to say, was not the most difficult for them. And people want to say, well, but they're not going to be. They're not going back to being that team from 2009, 2010, 2011. They're not going to. You don't have those types of players anymore. They do not have an Iniesta. They don't have a Xavi. They don't have a Carlos Puyol. They don't have a Dani Alves anymore. You know, that is the problem. I mean, and right now here in Argentina, that's the big criticism. You know, is Messi's season successful? Not Barcelona, Messi's. Is Messi's season successful? I don't know. That's a big question at this point. Because coming in, it was within the realm of possibilities, of course, that Valencia were going to win, or had a chance to win. But did people really expect them to? Not many. And I'll salute you if you expected, you know, Valencia to come out on top. And there was a possibility, especially the odds were even greater when the lineups came out. But the big problem with Barcelona is now that with every passing year, they start to look more like Argentina. It's more like when 10 players are playing around, they're knocking around the ball, they look very middle of the road. They look very ordinary. They look, and it's always giving the ball to Messi to kind of amplify the type of play, to make that team, make the play better. But there's nothing around it to help him make it better. And this is the proverbial argument that has been going on for years in terms of Messi and Argentina. Now you're starting to maybe consider it when it comes to, it's called something else totally different when it comes to Barcelona. It's called Messi dependency. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't know. If you base it on the expectations that there were and the way the season was going, yeah, I mean, I would not disagree with someone that says it's a failure. I would disagree with someone that says we deserve to win it. Two different things. I don't see any team deserving anything. You don't deserve anything as a team, as a player, as anything. You don't deserve it. You create merits, you go and you give arguments, you give substance, and you know the chips may fall where they may. So overall, we've seen that from Barcelona. Today was just, I guess it's one of those moments where this team just reached a point where it capitulated, and there will be a lot of restructuring in this year. Now the big question is, how are they going to support Messi? Messi's going to be 32 next month. He'll be going into next season 32, going into 33. Now you start to see he starts to get over the hump and start to get, you know, closer to that to the mid years of his 30s. What's the plan? What's going to happen? That's the big question Barca have now. Because we saw a lot about what he still can do in flashes and spurts and moments and in games where he can dominate. But what happens when he can't? He doesn't have the speed he did before. It's quite evident. You have players that are much faster than him in the game today. What do you do? What do you do if you're Barcelona? That's going to be the big question mark. I think that Ernesto Valverde will probably stay. Many of you will hate what I say, but it's true. That's just the way it is, though. He will stay, and he's not going anywhere. And Barcelona are going to play the same way they did this year, as they did last year, and as they will play next year, until Ernesto Valverde leaves and somebody else comes in. And I'm not sure if Quique Setién would be an option. Yeah, he's very philosophical in his style of play, but does that translate well? And we saw with Betis at moments it did, but towards the end of the season it sure as hell didn't. We'll see now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you in the next couple of days. I'm going to be sending videos, as I haven't had really a lot of time to write, so it will make it a little bit difficult, and I'll start bringing in more people to do some content, and I'm really looking forward to what the summer brings. As I mentioned, Gold Cup for me. I might be doing some, actually I will be doing, I shouldn't be saying, I will be doing some analysis of Copa America as I go, and then after that, there might be some interesting news that comes along the pike as far as new things that I will be doing in terms of commentary, in terms of coverage, in terms of many things. It's a good thing. And I look forward to sharing it with you guys. The last time I told you this, the announcements I did, you were the first ones to know, and I was very happy to be able to include you all in those types of new endeavors, and I hope that I can continue doing so. I hope I can continue offering you whatever content you need. Again, please ask questions. Ask as many questions as you want. If you have a question on something, please ask it, and I'll find a way to answer it as best as possible. Please do that. That's what you're here for. That's what you're investing yourselves, your resources into. Do it. Take advantage of me, man. And if I can't answer it right away, I will find someone that can. Don't worry about it. Please make sure that you use me as much as you can, because that's what you're there for. That's what I'm here for. Well, that's what you're there for, to use me, and that's what I'm here for, to be used by my patrons. So thank you so much. All right, talk to you guys soon. I'll be signing off here from Buenos Aires. Talk to you later. Bye.